Okay, you guys, we're doing another 100 pages a day, but I already read the first 280 pages. I know, I know, I haven't been filming, but this book is so, like, good. The pacing of it is great. It's a tennis book, and I never thought that I'd be getting this into anything about tennis. I don't watch tennis, I don't play tennis, I don't know anything about tennis, but this book is making tennis sound so interesting. And it's giving like Challengers vibes, but I didn't watch that movie. This character is very unlikable sometimes, but she's very determined, and I like that about her. It's getting really good. It's getting really good. I'm like getting all excited. I did not expect this for a tennis book. This is really, I'm stressed, you guys. I'm stressed. Also, this book is part of it is in Spanish. Like they speak Spanish in the book, which has been really cool for me to practice. When I listen to the audiobook too, I can practice my comprehensive input. So this book has been everything for me right now. I'm loving it. Where was I? Baby, just play. Like, she puts so much pressure on herself. I can relate to that. She puts so much pressure on herself. And she's not even having fun because she's so, like, stressed about winning. Here we go. She is a fiery one. Okay, so what this reminds me of is, like, sports movies. And I love sports movies. Honestly, this reads like a sports movie, which I really enjoy. So, yeah, good stuff. I don't know if I knew that this was about tennis and stuff, that I would have picked it up, to be honest. Because I think tennis is boring. I don't watch tennis. But I'm glad that I didn't know that, and I went into it pretty blind. And I'm reading it anyway because I'm really liking it. See, this part's in Spanish because her dad speaks Spanish and English, but he'll like slip into Spanish. And then she responds to him in Spanish sometimes. And it's very simple stuff, but it's been good practice for me. Like, bueno, pero tengo razón. Like, it's very easy stuff, but I'm able to follow. I'm gonna stop recording for now because this is a long clip and I have to edit this. This man, he really likes her, and I think when she's done focusing on all this tennis stuff, maybe she will give this guy a chance. I think she should. I can't believe she's going up against who she's going up against. Anyway, I don't want to spoil anything. She's like, all I have to do is play and not care about the outcome. Impossible. This girl is so competitive, it's insane, but wow. Okay, I'm getting pretty close to the end of this. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see how this goes. Okay, I just crossed the 300 page threshold. Page 304 in 3 days. Well, 4, because I didn't read for one of the days. I only have, let's see, how many pages are in this? Okay, I only have 60 pages left, so I could probably finish this tonight. I'm about to go. There wasn't really anyone in here today, which is why I was able to read so much, which is awesome. So after this, I'm gonna go get Zari from daycare and we're gonna go home. It's wash day Wednesday again, so I have to wash her hair, and then I have a couple things I need to do, and then I'm going to finish this book. Yay. I think I'm gonna read like one more chapter if I have some time. Yeah, I'll read until here and then I'll stop there. But I really like this book. It's been really good. I like it. It's really good. I got scared for a second. If you've read this, I think you know what I'm talking about. I was like, no, but they're okay. Everything is fine. Her dad, I love him. The things he says are just beautiful, and I mean that's Taylor Jenkins Reid right there. Her writing, so good. Love her dad. Like, what? Yeah, so good. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. This is what I'm talking about. Like, it's really hard to put this book down. It's very, like, it's nothing even super profound happening on some of these pages. Like, they're watching movies. And like, but it's just, I don't know. Every page feels worth it and then is telling the story, and I can picture it in my head, and it's nice. Like I said, it's like a movie, and I'm enjoying it. I'm so close to being done. I only have like 54 pages left, so. Okay guys, it's the next day. I am nice and cozy in my robe, in my bed. Welcome. I finished the book, and we're gonna talk about it. I almost cried. I'm not even gonna hold you. I almost cried. Stick around, just know there may be spoilers. But yeah, I did cry. Spoiler alert, okay? Stop it here if you don't want any spoilers. But yeah, when her dad passed, I definitely teared up, and I was like, no. Because like there was a scare at the beginning of the book, or like not the beginning, like the middle of the book, there's a scare and you think like, oh gosh, we're gonna lose him. And then he recovers and is back and you're like, yes, okay, good. Javier is back. And then he dies. In his sleep, peacefully, had a heart attack in his sleep and died. And it's like, oh, goodness. And luckily though, he wrote all of his like plans for her, all of the plays, all of the strategies that he had in a notebook. And she found it and she used that. And so it was like she still had him there with her. And it was just, that part of it was beautiful to me. Like, I'm getting emotional. Because I don't know, I think I said this in the beginning, but maybe it got cut. Her mom passed when she was really young, so she barely remembered her mom, and it was really just her and her dad for as long as she could really remember. That got me, and I was like, whoa, okay. I mean, like, we kind of see it coming, then we don't at the same time because they like trick us and have them like recover. And anyway, it was just really sad for me. So I had ChatGPT come up with some like book club type talking points for us to talk about the book. I am not like a literature major or an English major or anything like that. Like, I'm not gonna have super profound, super literary, super like in-depth views on this. I'm just a girl, okay? But we'll go over some of these questions just to discuss the book a little bit. And I really enjoyed seeing this journey like unfold as I was watching. Like I said, it feels like a movie, but as I was reading the book and listening to it, I went back and forth. She plays to annihilate the other player. Like, she plays and she's out for blood, okay? Like, literal blood. Like, if they bleed, score, extra points for her. Like, that's a win for her. Like, she was actually pretty brutal and cold out there. And it wasn't like she was even playing it because she enjoyed it. She had passion for it, but she wasn't like enjoying it. Like, she was just playing to win, and like losing was just not even an option for her. Like, she was very intense, and I think it was great to see towards the end of the book, you see her play tennis and enjoy herself again. By the end, like, she starts because she wants to keep her record. So she's like one of the greatest female tennis players in the world. She like is the greatest in the world at this point. She has the most slams, at the most wins at Wimbledon. Is that how you say it? Yeah, Wimbledon. And just, she's like incredible, right? And then she retires. And then after she retires, a few years later, there's this new up and coming tennis player, Nikki Chan, who is about to steal her record of most slams won. And she's like, oh no, baby. I'm not gonna let you just have it that easy. So she comes out of retirement and starts playing again to try to stop this girl from beating her record. Basically, she's like, nah, I gotta beat this chick. Like, she thinks she's better than me. Not standing for it. My dad, he raised me and trained me to be the best. I know. While I'm living, no one's gonna beat me. Like, I have to be the best. So she had this in her mind, like, she had to be the best. That's like what she's been told since she was a little girl, and she's not gonna let it go that easy. So she comes out of retirement, trains again, and she lets her dad coach her again. And then they both make a comeback back into the tennis scene, and it's super fun and exciting to see. Like, low-key, I'm surprised at how much I like this. But as a tennis player, I think she's very cutthroat. She's very all about winning. And then towards the end, you see her start to be like, you know what? I love this freaking sport. This is fun. Like, I'm very good at this. And then she realizes, like, but Nikki Chan is the future. Like, I did my thing. I walked so she could run. Like, I set this up. I made my mark in history, and she can have it now. Like, I did all I could do. I am legendary as it is, but this new girl, she's coming up and she's taking my spot. She accepts it, ultimately in the end. It's really nice to see. So as a tennis player, I loved her arc. Like, her character arc was great. As a person, there was also a nice character arc going on. She was frustrating as a protagonist because she was so like low-key mean. She's just brutal with her words and distant with her emotions. And it's fair, like, it's granted. She grew up with a very loving, very awesome dad, but he lost his wife, and had to raise this little girl all by himself, and after losing the love of his life. And so, like, she witnessed her father go through that, and that's tough. That was very hard emotionally. He closed himself off. Like, he never dated again after, well, at least he never like seriously had like a girlfriend or another wife. He never remarried after her mother. So like, he was very like closed off to love after his wife passed. Carrie growing up and seeing that made her not super like open to love, you know? So she was just, or even friendships, like she was just very cold, because I feel like she saw how devastating it was to her father when he lost her mom, and she was like, I never want to feel that type of pain. Like I never want to be that close to someone that they can like leave me, whether it's, you know, they die or they hurt me in some way, and I can't handle what I saw like him go through it. So it was nice to see her go from like super guarded, only had like one friend, and it was her manager, and then her dad, like that's all she really hung out with. She obviously had like sexual encounters with people because she's a human being, a woman with needs, but in terms of emotions and relationships, she was like, nah, I'm cool on that. And so seeing her eventually open up, a little bit of a love story in here, but it's not a huge focal point, and there's no like spice really in this book at all. There's no spice. So if you're into that, if you're not into spice and you're like no spice books, this is a good one, because there's like no spice in this at all. Her and her dad had this rule of like not being friends with her enemies or like her competitors, her opponents, like same thing. They thought it was all the same thing. They're all like her enemies basically. And so she wasn't like friends with the other tennis players because they were like rivals to her. So she was very serious about like, nah, I'm not gonna let you in because you could know my weaknesses. Use anything I say against me. Like she just was not about that. And so yeah, she's very closed off, but it was cool to see her evolve. How does Carrie's obsession with winning and her relationship with her father Javier influence her actions and decisions? So yeah, like Javier was a very tough coach, and she was a very serious competitor, so it was very serious. They were not about befriending their competitors or anything like that. They were super focused, and they had their like bubble that they were in, where it was just them and tennis, and that's all like they really focused on. And relationships outside of that like didn't matter very much. Like the dad never remarried, she never really got in serious relationships like most of her life. She kind of tried one time, didn't really work out, and she never tried again. She likes to win and be successful. Yeah, I think that really influenced her actions, because she's all about winning and not failing and not getting hurt. And so relationships are not a safe way to not get hurt, you know? Okay, so it talks about Carrie versus the younger generation, and it touches on society and their views of women specifically, especially athletes, or anyone who's like performing physically in any way as they age, and how that affects like the society's view of them, in especially in sports in particular. You can see in the book there's a lot of, I like to listen to the audiobook of this too, because whenever there's like a sports analyst show they put in here, they have it like sounding like one on the audiobook. Like it's like the sports music in the background and them talking like, okay, so Carrie Soto, what do you think about her? You know, it was super cute the way they did that in the audiobook. I liked that, I enjoyed it. But like one of the analyst literally calls her a bitch on the air on accident. He thought they were off the air, and he was like, that's really how they see her. And she was a cutthroat, very tough competitor, but like, I don't think if a man acted the same way she acted, they would have been quite as hard on them as they were on her about how competitive and aggressive she played. They really like would rail on her about how unlikable she was, and how, you know, she didn't have good sportsmanship. Like if she won, she would gloat about it and be like, well, she should have played better, you know, or then I wouldn't have beat her. Like, I'm better than she is. Like she was just very honest, very straightforward, and she didn't beat around the bush. She was like, I'm the best. Like she was just, and people did not like, she rubbed people the wrong way a lot. And I think it's just because she was a very unapologetically good player, aggressive, tough, strong. And when women are like that, it can be off-putting for people, especially men. And it was a male-dominated sport in terms of like the commentators and the analysts and stuff, especially. And they were like, she's just not really like, it's just rude. And it's like, well, it's a sport though. Like it's competitive. At the end of the day, like you're competing, and she's not there to be liked. She's there to play a sport to win. So, but, and they would talk about it like when she made her comeback, they were kind of just talking mad shit about her. And so I am happy that she came and she killed it, and she proved a lot of them wrong, because they were talking mad shit about her and like making it seem like it was a joke that she was coming back. And so for her to do as well as she did, was exciting, impressive, and to see them have to eat their words was really fun. I liked that aspect of the story, of them doubting her and talking about her, making fun of her basically, and then having to eat their words and be like, yeah, no, actually she came out and surprised us all, she killed it. Like, low-key, yeah, she did that. She didn't end up reclaiming her title. Nikki Chan does end up like taking that and then keeping it and running with it, but she still held her own against players way younger than her and did the damn thing. So that was really exciting to read, honestly. Taylor Jenkins Reid, every book that I've read by her so far, I've really liked. I think every book, like I've read so many books by her. I only read like 2, I think, other books by her. There was One True Loves is by her, I believe. And I love that book. One of my best friends has a lot of books. She reads a lot too. And she put me on to a lot of books when I was first writing. So I was like, I don't even know where to start. So she let me borrow a bunch of her books, and one of them was One True Loves, and that book was so good. The movie is trash. Do not waste your time. You'll be disappointed. The movie was trash, but the book is so good. I love the concept of it. I love her pacing, her storytelling is amazing. It's beautiful. And so I love her writing style. This book, like I said, I'm not into tennis, so I wasn't expecting this. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know I would like it so much. But the pacing of it, the way she like included the sports analyst clips and like when she included them and how she built upon the story and wrote everything and the characters like feel real. Like it was so good. I really love this author. And I have another book by her right here that I'm going to be reading after I finish Onyx Storm. I had started Onyx Storm and I'm like 132 pages in. So I'm also trying to like get through this about 100 pages a day as well. So I will also be keeping you up to date on this read and then this read. So this is what's coming up next. So stay tuned for all of that. Subscribe so you don't miss out on that. But love Taylor Jenkins Reid. She's amazing. Let's see if there's anything else I want to talk about in here. I love the fact that Carrie is very hard-headed. Then whenever she made her comeback, she wanted her dad to coach her again, which was super sweet, and I love that they got to do that before he passed. It was just beautiful. But she is very hard-headed. She did trust her dad's word a lot, but there was also times where he would straight up tell her, give her really good advice and tell her like, hey, this girl's faster than you, so don't try to outrun her. Don't try to beat her in speed because you can't. And she didn't listen to him. She lost that game, and then she plays that player again later in the book, and she like takes her dad's advice that time, and she actually does what he told her to do, and like played smart and using her strengths and their weaknesses and making it work for her, like her dad told her the first time. So I think it's cool to see. She's very hard-headed, but once she was ready to actually listen to people around her, that being like her dad, Bo, her manager, like the people around her that care about her and love her and know her very well, it was like a turning point for her in her mindset, in her game, like playing, and then also like relationships especially. So that was really cool to see when she actually like let people in and like listened to their advice and internalized it and then applied it. It worked for her. Okay, so competition, competitiveness, that's like Carrie's biggest personality trait, probably. She's extremely competitive, and it's both what drives her and pushed her into so much success, but it's also what hurt her in some ways, because she just was, like I said, all about winning, and was so almost like it made her short-sighted sometimes, because she was only thinking about winning and only thinking about being the best, and was like, it's unacceptable for me to lose. Like in her mind, it was unacceptable to lose. And it wasn't like, okay, a learning opportunity, let's figure out what I did wrong or that. It was like, I should have won that. Like she would just be so hard on herself. And it became more healthy at the end, where it was like healthy competitions, where it was like, yes, I want to play against someone who gives me a run for my money, and if they win and I'm playing at my best and they still beat me, then okay, they deserve it. It was nice to see her come to that place of acceptance. I do feel like there were certain aspects of Carrie Soto that I could relate to. Her perfectionism and competitiveness. I have my tea. I'm gonna mix it up and put some honey in it. Today I have sleepy time tea because it's like 10:30 at night. So I am getting cozy. Add some honey. Okay. I feel like I can definitely relate to Carrie Soto's perfectionist tendencies. I'm definitely like that. Like, I can definitely relate. I don't think I'm quite as intense on myself anymore as Carrie remained throughout the book. Like, I was very much like her when I was younger. I was a competitive gymnast when I was little. I was like getting good too. Like, I was elevating really fast. I was getting better really fast. And then I like had this huge growth spurt and lost all my progress like overnight. And it shook me and it messed me up. And I was like, I kept trying for a while, but it was just not doing good things to my mental. And I was only like 10 or 11, you know, like I was too young to be like that stressed out and that like disappointed in myself every meet because I would like miss a skill or fall or hurt myself. Broke my toe, like I was just injuring myself more and I was just like not in control of my body and it was frustrating for me. So that's when I quit and I switched to dance to try to like get more comfortable in my body again because I was so lanky and awkward and just couldn't even dance at all either. Like I was just so awkward and still feel that way sometimes, especially when I watch myself. I'm like, there's that lanky, awkward kid again. Like, I can see her. She's still there. But I'm just really hard on myself. So I understand that about her, especially with her dad being her coach and her dad being as intense of a coach as he was. I think that he was still a very loving dad. He was a very intense coach and was very hard on her. And that becomes your internal like voice. You can do better than that, or like just being on top of myself and like kind of rude to myself sometimes. Not quite anymore, but like when I was younger, when I was a kid, it was bad. So I definitely can relate to that personally, and I think that's also like a connection I felt with the character and why I enjoyed the book so much, because I could understand like where she was coming from. And now that I'm older and I'm not as much of a perfectionist and I am less concerned with like winning and being the best at anything really, so that's not really me anymore. But there was a period of time, a long period of time, where I was very much like that. I had to let that go to survive. I had to let go of my perfectionism or I was not going to survive. So you know, I let that go, but it was a struggle I had for a while that I can personally relate to. So I think that the importance of mentorship and coaching is huge in this book. Some of the things that her dad says, who is her coach in this book, are absolutely beautiful to me. And I was like, I needed to hear that. Like, that was good. Like, I wish I had, this is a library book, so I couldn't like have it or like highlight anything, but there were certain lines that Javier said that I was like, I wish I could highlight that and just like keep that because that was beautifully said. This is just, I love her writing. It's so good to me personally. It might not be your speed, but I like it. The novel uses tennis as a metaphor for life, with its victories, defeats, and constant pressure. What deeper life lessons can readers take away from Carrie's story? Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's ups and downs. There's moments where you're at the top. There's moments where someone's gonna be better than you, and you have to accept that. There's triumphs, there's defeats, there's fairness, there's things that aren't fair. And even in tennis with the different courts, there's the clay courts, there's the grass, there's, you know, different, and they all have their different advantages, different disadvantages. Some people are better at some than others. Like, there's a lot of metaphors there to be made with tennis and life that I've never thought about before. So that's made me think a little bit differently about tennis. I might actually try to watch some tennis one of these days and see if I can maybe get more into it now that I know a little bit more about it. But yeah, this is getting really long, so I'm gonna cut it off here. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. It's a comeback story, there's a little bit of a love story, there's a beautiful father-daughter story, and just a story of self-love and acceptance and aging and growth and life, and it's really good. I really enjoy it. So if you've thought about reading this book, I give it 4 stars. You should definitely read it. And thanks for watching. Stay tuned for my next book reviews. I have vlogs, I have hair videos, I'm starting to learn how to crochet, so I've been documenting that a little bit. So stay tuned and stick around for more. Next up, we have Onyx Storm, so stay tuned for that book club video. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.